Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage. Today we're going to be working on the Sweetheart Roadster again. We're going to be working on the deck lid once again. So the last time was a huge step. We were able to get the trunk lid hinging, got it to latch, but we had obviously some problems because the gaps with the trunk lid skin was all just totally wrong. It was really tight on the sides and the bottom was wrong and so on and so forth. So what we're going to work on today, it's not a fun job, but it's something that needs to be done. We're going to work on cutting into the deck lid skin and moving the gaps around, get everything pretty darn close so that we can open and shut the trunk without having any issues. And also it's a one step closer to being ready for bodywork. So let's get started. All right, so made my first cut and got this cut down vertically on the deck lid skin, and I just wanted to show before I started adjusting anything, right in here where it was actually had resistance, it closed the cut up onto itself. So if you go up here further where there was some kind of gap, you can see that the cut actually has, you can see the thickness of the cutting wheel there. But as we go down, it starts touching, it actually closed in on itself. So we're gonna have to make a second cut there. I have this little like aircraft pry tool that I had broken the tip off of and I just sanded. And I'm gonna use that to kind of just shove in there and pry over a little bit and start creating the gap. And once we get, I have a little feeler gauge here, like a go, no-go gauge. Here, this is like a little adjustable one for gapping. That I just have 3 of these, and that's kind of what I'm using there. So as we go, we can stick it in the top here, and then we can work our way down. So it's pretty tight all the way at the top. You can see down here at the bottom, it fits in nice, and then it gets to about where my line is, where it gets stuck. So we're going to basically work our way up till we can get this gap in the panel, and I may have to make a couple of cuts as we go and tack it along the way. So that's going to be the process. It's going to take forever, but we'll eventually get this gap so that it's kind of similar to what we have down here. It's a little fat at the bottom here. I may have to add a little bit, but we'll get it all fairly even and symmetrical after a little bit of cutting and moving and welding. All right, so I got both sides gapped pretty good. I think I'm gonna go back into this side. It opened up just a tiny bit on me, like right here. I might have just went a little too far. I'm kind of being picky, but it's just a little fat right there. I may go back, but for now it's pretty good, much better. We got a pretty consistent, for the most part, gap up it. Biggest thing is we can now open the trunk without it having to force it shut. Next thing I need to do is this deck lid, like we talked about. Aftermarket parts a lot of times isn't quite right. No big deal. So this has too much shape in the center of the panel here, basically, and it is pretty much like flush here in each corner, but in the center it's pushed out. So it's like it has too much of a bulge in the center there. So what I'm going to do is I just roughly drew a line along the edge. Same idea as we did up here. Cut just above the bend line there, and then we can basically push this skin in till it's basically flush, and then this area that sticks out too proud, we can grind it back and then make the two of them meet again, and then, you know, tack it up and weld it up. So same idea, just got to get this center area that's sitting out fitting in a little bit better, and then we'll be pretty good, and this thing should be opening and shutting with like no resistance, which is a huge step on this car. right, so we got the deck lid gaps all in the ballpark. Again, I say it a million times, I am not a crazy metal finishing pro. Just get everything in the ballpark, as we say, and you can use your body filler to get it where it needs to be. But this thing was horrendous when we started. I mean, 80% of the deck lid was bound up on the sides. The bottom had totally the wrong shape to it, and had to remake that bottom piece. That bottom piece was way more difficult than I expected. There was a lot of gaps going on, the top to bottom gap, the front to back gap, so that it could slip down behind when you go to latch everything. And there was a couple times where I almost cut it all apart and threw the skin in the trash and started over, but persevered. So now everything latches. It's still not as smooth as I would like. The latch, to get the latch adjusted just right, we still need to work on that a little bit, but it works. Everything opens, shuts, latches, the gaps. It looks like this deck lid's actually meant for this car, which it didn't in the beginning, and there'll just be, you know, some fine tuning as expected with this thing. So now that we got this done, I'm back in the trunk area working. I may work on doing the license plate thing. I know a lot of people were yelling when we did the taillights that they wanted us to do something there. I think I'm going to do some sort of Frenched-in license plate mount there, so I may work on that next. I need to work on just planishing out and hammering and dollieing the quarters. There's all kinds of old damage that's still in here. There's areas on the body line beads where there's stuff that was ripped and pitted and thin, so I need to cut some of that out and weld little pieces in and just keep finessing basically this back section of the car. So I'll be doing a video definitely on the rear tail, or the license plate treatment. Some of this other stuff I may do in between the other videos and the other projects, but we're turning a little bit of a corner here with this car. We have doors that open and shut, we have a trunk that opens and shuts. It all kind of fits the car like it's supposed to. It's kind of wild. So really excited that we're making so much progress this winter on this car. So thank you guys for following along. Appreciate it. Catch you later.